So in 2020, I met my husband and he proposed to me, and I finally had my happy ending and everything. But it's really sad what happened is he proposed to me very early on in our relationship, and I was so scared that when I walked into my parents' house and said that I'm engaged, he loves me, that they would beat me or something. I was literally afraid that if I said yes to being engaged to him, um, that when I walked in and told them, because it was weird, so weird, because they're still the people who have raised me since I was 12 years old, and I wanted to walk into the house and say to them, my boyfriend just proposed to me, he wants me to be his wife. I was afraid that they were going to beat me. Genuinely afraid that they were just going to beat me and call the cops and tell me you're not engaged. And then I told him, I'm literally genuinely just so afraid for my life. This is not going to work out. Either we can't be engaged, or you have to let me move in with you right now and keep me away from these people right now. He kind of didn't believe me. Previously, I had not told him how mean these people actually were. And my husband he's one of those people who wants to see the good in everyone. Like, in general, I didn't really know that he noticed that they were bad people. He just didn't want to believe it was true because he said that the people who were raising me and have raised me I was since I was a preteen, he thought that they were such good parents. Like, he did not realize that, in fact, they were not responsible for me being a good person. I was responsible for the person that I had turned out to become. Like, my husband loved my personality, and he thought that I was just a good, well-behaved Christian woman. That I was intelligent and pretty and elegant and well-behaved, polite, shy. He noticed that I possessed all of these qualities, and he thought that my guardians were responsible for that. But they weren't. Or they were, I don't remember, but sometimes when you're considering that you've turned out to be a good person, you have to think that it's despite your parents abusing you. Not because of them, because how could you have abused me, but also make sure that I turned out to be a good person? So he didn't know how mean my birth mother and husband were. He didn't believe me. He didn't believe that I had been raised in a very harmful environment where I had been bullied every day of my life since the age of 12 years old. He didn't believe any of that. So I told him later on that the reason I said no to you when you said you wanted to propose to me was because I was afraid that my birth mother and husband were going to physically attack me, that they were going to beat me and call the cops on you. And, just insist that they still control me and that they run my life. I thought that they were going to do that to me, and he said he didn't believe me. And it actually took a long time for my husband to come around and realize that I was telling the truth about these people. And what happened is, eventually, I did move in with him. And then my birth mother started sending her family members to bully and harass me and my husband on Facebook. And my husband was like, whoa, what the fuck is going on here? I didn't do anything to you. You're my girlfriend. You're living with me. I'm not doing anything to you. My birth mother had told her family members that my husband had kidnapped me, that he was abusing me, that he was holding me hostage in his home. This all happened in the year of 2020. People were messaging me, they were asking me if I was okay, they were threatening to call the cops on my husband. Eventually, my husband's family found out, and my husband's family was like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? You said she's your girlfriend. She's a very nice woman. Why would her family say that you kidnapped her and that you're abusing her? And I told them, to which they also didn't believe me for a while. Well, my husband's mother believes me. But I don't really know what happened in the entirety of the rest of his family and the entirety of that timeline. I don't really have any idea what his family's personal opinions of the situation were, because I was too embarrassed to speak to them for a long time because of how my biological family was treating them. because of how they were treating my husband, I eventually answered some of their messages and told them that I moved into his house. He's my boyfriend. He wants to marry me and give me kids. He wants to marry me and have a family with me. So he moved me into his house. He told me I could move in here. And he's not abusive. And he didn't kidnap me. And anything that happens between a couple is none of anyone's business. I don't care how nosy you are, and I don't care how entitled you feel to knowing personal information about your family members. Some information is just not your business. Actually, I am a very private person. I have always been a very private person because I was brought up in a very nosy family who insists on always knowing everyone's business. I hate that. I do not engage in that. That brings me to the next part where I say that I am no contact, but that comes later. When members of my biological family, when they didn't believe me, eventually they didn't believe my mother because I told them that my boyfriend did not kidnap me and he is not abusing me. They started to believe me, but then they started being very nosy and overly involved in my life. They started berating my husband's family. They started trying to get to know my husband just so they could bully him and pick on him because they had decided from the jump that they didn't like him. And the reason for this was I told them that I am a very private person, and so is my husband, and I actually don't appreciate how nosy and overly involved you people are trying to be in my life. When I was a kid, you all could control me and be overly involved in my life. Now you can't, and it's pissing you off. You are no longer entitled to information about my personal life. That made all of these people so angry. There were a lot of hardships while I was engaged to my husband and dating him. Most of them did stem from my birth mother, who she hates me. She hates me, and her thing is that she wants personal information about you so she can gossip about you, degrade you, bring you down. That's her thing. She wants to bring all of her kids down to her level so we feel just as miserable as she does. So we stay in contact with her. She does that to all 5 of her kids, all 4 of her children, all 4 of her adult children. She has not been able to do that to me. She has not been able to do that to me since 2022. Because that year in 2022, it turns out that I was pregnant with my first child. Me and my husband were so overwhelmed because we had only been engaged for a year. We could not believe it. We could not believe that we were already pregnant with our first child after a year of being together. We had to become parents. I was only 24 years old when I became pregnant with my child. Pregnancy was very hard. After people in my biological family found out, I was very excited because this was my first time being pregnant. But my birth mother's family absolutely ruined my pregnancy. I told them that I did not want them to be involved because this is my life, my marriage. It's my pregnancy, and you're not allowed to meet my children anyway. I banned these people from meeting my children. I banned these people from communicating with my husband because they were so disrespectful towards him. They have no respect to me. They have no respect to my husband. They're definitely not going to respect the children that I grow in my rooms. Well, I was pregnant with my first child. My birth mother and her 2 oldest daughters verbally harassed me over the phone and tried to make me out to be the problematic person when I told them very clearly that I did not want them to be involved in my pregnancy. It's so telling of each of their characters that they are very envious and hateful towards me. And, just in general, if you decide not to let these people be involved in your life, they will force their way into your lives. They will force their way into your lives by bullying and harassment and, just in general having no sort of respect for you.